What's up, Jooba people? If you want to learn this song, make sure to download the PDF below this video. It's got the little riff, the picking pattern, and all the different chord shapes that I'm going to use inside this demo, and I'm going to play it through for you right now. Let's go. 1, 2. Alright, so the first thing that we gotta get is all the chord shapes. Now it's got a looping chord progression, so not that tough, but if you haven't played these chords, it might end up being a little tough. I don't know. It depends on where you're at currently. So we've got index finger here on 7th fret, and then we've got these three bundled up on the 9th fret. So this makes a C sharp minor 11 chord. And the melody is played with those orange notes that you see there. So the orange notes are always the notes in the chord shape that you use to play the melody. So da, 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 da. And then we go to this very interesting F sharp 7 chord. We could just play an F sharp 7 like that, but Tomo Fujita Music teaches this one on his channel, and I really like it. Very beautiful sounding chord. You've got a bar with the index finger and then these two on the 8th fret. So you go da 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 da, da, and then da da da, da da da, and then we go to this B7 chord, which is actually an A over B chord. We start with the pinky down. Now if that's a bit tough for you, you could go or, but I like to do the thumb here and then, so that's the melody note that you end on, the E here. So So quite simple here, and you repeat that twice, all right, for this song. And then we go la 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 la. So this, the B section, if you want to call it, we've got the melody running here from the 4th fret, and then that takes us into A major 9 chord. And so la 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 da da. And then we've got this beautiful, beautiful G sharp 7. That's the melody on the G sharp 7. So that note, that melody note, you don't really have to hold the chord while you played it. You can hold the chord for these two notes. So that note, melody note, you can play by itself. And that takes you to the C sharp minor 7. Okay, so we got ba, 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 boo, da, do. Landing on an F sharp 7. You can play this full one if you want to, but I like this one because we're plucking most of the time. And then we go ba, 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 to the last line of chords. Ba, 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 ba. That E over B chord, B7. So we got ba, ba, E over G sharp, A6/9. Go to that E, you can go to this E or this one, E major 9. There's a lot of options that you can do to resolve it there. So, and then if you want to loop the song again, then you go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play the whole thing for you, just so you can kind of follow along with the chord shapes and just kind of see how it all blends together. And I'm going to play it very slowly, all right? And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get into the iPad here so that you can see for yourself just a little bit clearer, you know, what I'm actually doing here, all right? Okay, let's try that. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 1, 2. First line again. Second line. I added an extra beat there. I shouldn't have done that, but you get the idea, right? Okay. Now, let's quickly do the little riff there that we play in, like do 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 do, that the bass and the guitars and the keyboards and everybody plays there. So in the demo I played it here, but in the tab I've got it written here, and I also played it there in one part of the demo. Do those two notes actually for the last. So. So if you look at my slap patterns, you're going to really get an idea of how to play with this, because a lot of it is very similar to my slap patterns, little mini chords. But let me quickly take you through the slap pattern that I kind of tend to use it as a basis, and then I improvise around that. Okay, so I'm going to use one chord, and let's say we use the first chord of this. So. That's the sound that you want. So it's pluck everything together on beat 1, and then there's just these three by themselves, and then the hit. And you see, the moment I add those two percussive elements, now these are two muted with the left hand. So I play those two, but I'm taking my left hand off and muting the strings. So I've got this. And you know, sometimes you'll find your hand just kind of doing weird stuff. So it would sometimes replace this note with a bass note, you know. Listen how that sounds if you change that last percussive hit. So you just have one percussive hit. So and then that bass note is moved from the first beat to the second last beat. These kind of things just kind of happen when you're messing around with this pattern. So I would take the bass pattern and play the whole chord progression like that, okay? And then try to groove with the pattern, you know. You know, adding some chords maybe sometimes on an earlier beat, like there, just I did it at the end. And so you get the idea of, you know, pushing a chord half a beat earlier, or an eighth note earlier, and that kind of gives you that little and you gotta kind of feel that groove. And then once you're done with that, then you can start adding the melody. But first I'll play it as a chord melody. Okay, so I'm just taking you a bit through levels, how I would probably teach a student this, you know. It depends really on your level that you're at, because you might be at a place where, oh, you got it, you know, you can easily figure out that pattern. But I would first play it as a chord melody, so like very not inside a tempo. So I would first go. Before you do the tune, if by now, if you don't understand what I'm doing here, okay, how to play chord melody like that, it's basically just you're playing the melody and then establishing the chords with bass note first and then some other notes. That's basically what it is, you know. You're just like, you know, so it's not rocket science. Just kind of copy what you hear and what you feel. And then from there, you can start to maybe do the rhythm and the melody at the same time, which is going to mean you're going to have to sometimes not play the whole pattern, sometimes play only a little piece of the pattern, depending on how much melody is in that part of the song. And remember, it's a jazz kind of standard, so you don't have to do dun 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 da da. You could do da 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 da. You know, whatever you want, you could do. What a beautiful song. Okay, I love playing the song. Let me know what your thoughts on this. Maybe I would do a part 2 tutorial if this turns out to be a little bit tough, but I haven't taught the song to a student yet, so I don't really know how they're going to experience this kind of lesson. So let's see. But it's all going to depend on what skill level you're at currently. And I'd love to see your posts in the community about this. Yeah, I would love to see that. Okay, that's it. Cheers, guys.